to hear it, Lynn. Let's stand and let's sing our opening song for May. Welcome to May. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Little darling, the smiles returning to their faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Little darling, I feel the ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Let's do another round of that. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Woo!
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lynn Green, and on behalf of Reverend Donna Maurer and the Board of Trustees, I'm privileged to welcome you to the Sonoran Desert Center for Spiritual Living. Whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual path, here you are truly welcomed. You will be validated, supported, and encouraged to be all that you were meant to be. Our vision statement is love in action, every day and every way. That's Bruce's famous. He loves that. We express this love by living the Declaration of Principles. They're on the back of your bulletin, if you'll please join me now in reading them. I believe there is an infinite intelligence operating throughout the universe. I believe this intelligent power is only good. I believe this intelligence expresses as me. I believe through my conscious use of this power, I create my life as happy, healthy, and complete. And so it is. If this is your first time here, we especially welcome you. Do we have anyone here for the first time? Hello, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Thomas.
Hi, Thomas. Where are you from?
From Wautuka City.
All right, well, welcome. Stay around afterwards, and we've got some snacks back there. We'll get a chance to know you a little better. We want to thank those who make our service special and all of our attendees. There's some announcements in the bulletin. And Carol Ann, you had something. Where'd you go? You want to just, you want.
And if you are visiting with us today for the first time, the words for our Namaste song are inside at the first page of your bulletin. The God in me beholds the God in you. It is all for our greatest and highest good. Here God in me beholds the God in you, and you and I are one. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. It is all for our greatest and highest good. The God in me beholds the God in you, and you and I are one. Namaste. Namaste.
Good morning. I am Senor Lopez. It's my pleasure to be the practitioner of the day. And today is Miraculous Moment Sunday, being the first Sunday of the month. So any of us that you see here, any practitioner wearing our stoles, means that we are available after service. If you should desire any kind of treatment, if anything's going on that you'd like us to know the truth about for you, it's our pleasure to do so. So join with me now in our opening invocation. Take a breath. Know with me that God is all there is, everywhere present, filling all space, expressing in, through, and as each one of us here this morning, filling this sanctuary with its light, its love, its essence. We are all spirit in perfect expression. And I know, declare, and affirm that this morning's service is already perfect, whole, and complete. I'm so grateful for the people behind the scenes who make it so every Sunday. Susan, behind the counter. Gray, at the video center. Heather, and her beautiful inspirational music. And of course, Reverend Donna with her words of wisdom. I'm so grateful for this truth. And together we say, and so it is. So my reading this morning is from the new Science of Mind magazine this month, the theme of which is light within the shadows. Many of us grew up learning to be afraid of the dark, whether we thought ghosts or monsters lurked under the bed or in the closet, or we needed a light, a night light, because the darkness just seemed too dark, too eerie. We learned that darkness was something to be feared. In actuality, we were born from within the dark. The quiet womb nurtured and sustained us as it allowed us to develop and grow. It was a place of stillness and comfort. It was home and a place of assuredness and safety. Can you imagine being shocked into birth, forced to leave that home of dark, beautiful comfort, and thrust into another form of life in the external world with lights, sounds, cameras, and so much action? The truth is, the light and the dark coexist and support one another. There is a shift change that passes the baton from the dark of night to the early morning. The baton passes from dark to light and from light to dark. The dark supports the light, and in turn, the light gives way to the dark. Light and dark exist together and cradle each other, each with its own characteristics. They may seem to operate independently, but actually, they are a pair that work in unison as complements along the spectrum. Most of us have been socialized to believe that light is good and darkness is bad, given its unknowns and mystery. We create a villain out of darkness and objectify the light, which is how spiritual bypass occurs. We pray away what we perceive as bad or dark, or hurry up and get to the good part, to the light. We often bypass processing what is considered bad in the shadow sphere, which is where buried treasures can be discovered. The truth, however, is that light and dark work powerfully in synergy with each other. The shadows of darkness represent the deepest parts of ourselves, those emotions that can yield pain, grief, or sorrow. Many of us learned as children to hide or push away those parts of ourselves in fear of the hurt and agony they might cause. In truth, leaning into the shadow parts of ourselves helps us work through and reveal healing, light, and true joy. Our emotions have so much to help shift our perspective and bring appreciation in a new way. As we unlearn the lifelong truth, the lesson that dark is bad and light is good, we open our minds to the truth that both light and dark hold intrinsic value. The space of shadows and darkness is fertile ground where creativity and new beginnings gestate and are born. Often, we fear what we do not understand and cannot control. Darkness is one of these places. In these times, social healing requires us to examine those places within where unconscious biases and judgments reside. We have the opportunity to befriend the shadows, to unpack hidden and subconscious beliefs, and to hold ourselves accountable to create positive change. If we allow the light and dark to dance together, healing and transformation are imminent for us, individually and collectively. This intersection of light and dark is our sweet spot this month in spiritual practice as we apply our science of mind principles to examining each. By making room for both the light and the dark, we enrich our experience of living fully out loud. Namaste. So I light our service candle, which represents the light of spirit, and I go over and hold the high watch. And if you have, again, anything you wish treatment for, come to one of us and or fill out a prayer card over on the table. Thank you.
Can I tell you how much I adore this month's theme? It's true. Some of my favorite songs are about bringing light to the darkness. When I'm not here, I do other musical and creative pursuits, and there is a little bit of a spiritual element to them. And I tell my clients and my community members, let's call them, that we must acknowledge that darkness to appreciate the light. Isn't that true? So I'd like to do one of my favorite India RE songs for you. I've done it many, many times before. I am light, I am light. 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 I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I'm not the mistakes that I have made, any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. And I am light. 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 am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. All light, all light. I am light, I am light. I am divinity defined. I am a God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. Thank you. Namaste.
Good morning. Thank you all for caring so much about me. I was late this morning. There were 3 people standing outside with phones. What happened, Donna? What happened is I slept in. You know, it's so hard to get... It's so hard to get up when you've got a kitty asleep on your head. So that's where she was this morning, and I just didn't want to move. So thank you for caring about me. I love you all, too. Well, as John said, we have a new theme and topic. And the theme for May, as created by the ministers and by the organization, is light within the shadows. And I love that, and we'll be talking about that. Thank you. See how much I'm loved? I love this. Wow. So we're going to talk a lot about that because I do like that topic. However, today was supposed to be the inner and outer spectrum, but I didn't like that so much. So our topic today is embracing the mystery. And it kind of skirts around what we're talking about. And maybe later we'll get into it a little bit more. But, and before I get started, I wanted to tap on to John talking about being afraid of the dark. Because I know I've told this story, but when I was a little girl, when I was about 3 years old, we lived on a farm. So when it was dark, it was dark. And my baby sister and I shared a room. She had a crib, I had a little bed. And remember the old-fashioned buggies with the big wheels? Okay, the buggy was under the crib. And at night, especially when there was a moon, those 2 wheels turned into eyes. And it was a huge black bear. And his name was Bright Eyes. And I would scare myself silly and go to sleep out of pure exhaustion just watching those eyes so they wouldn't catch me. But I was thinking about this story, and I think that what I did is after a while, I created a big, huge bear outside my window. And his name was Brown Bear, and I could hear him sing. And he was much bigger than Bright Eyes. And he was out there protecting me. And I knew that Bright Eyes couldn't get me as long as Brown Bear was out there protecting me. This is a 3-year-old. Can you see the spirituality in that? When I discovered something bigger than myself, then that little bear could no longer scare me. And that's really this kind of the journey that we're all taking. So I like the idea of incorporating the darkness with the light, the mystery with what we know. And in his essay, The World as I See It,
Albert Einstein says, the fairest thing we can experience is the mysterious. It's a fundamental emotion which stands at the cradle of true art and true science. He who knows it not and can no longer wonder, no longer feel amazement, is as good as dead, a snuffed out candle. It was the experience of mystery, even if mixed with fear, that engendered religion. A knowledge of the existence of something we cannot penetrate, of the manifestations of the profoundest reason and most radiant beauty, which are only accessible to our reason in their most elementary forms. It is this knowledge and this emotion that constitutes the truly religious attitude. In this sense, and in this alone, I am a deeply religious man. Isn't that amazing, coming out of one of the world's greatest scientists in our lifetime? So, Reverend Dennis Merritt Jones in The Art of Being says life is truly the ultimate mystery. We are born from the pure essence of divine creation, given a body in which we rattle around for a given period of time, and then we leave again, going back into the divine essence from which we came. That, in and of itself, is amazing. What a miracle. What a mystery. The space between those 2 points is what we refer to as life. And we spend most of it trying to figure it out. Why are things the way they are? And how can we manipulate, control, and squeeze more out of it rather than living in awe of the sweetness of mystery itself? And I think that's one of the things that's changed for me since I began my spiritual path, is that I'm much more aware of the mystery of life, and I tend to see, not all the time, but I do tend to see through the eyes of wonder and awe. You know how many times I've talked about, and I know Louis shares this, how I love to just stand out or sit out on a moonless night with the stars, just watching the stars and realizing that I'm a piece of a puzzle that includes the galaxies. You know, I'm part of that. It's me out there. You know, and you. But I don't stay there, you know, none of us do. Like Reverend Dennis says, I try to figure things out, I try to control things, and I forget that I am more than this body. So those are the times that I revert into a human doing rather than a human being. And yet there's always something that brings me back into mystery. We had a mom and daddy and 3 baby quail in our backyard last night. Yeah. I mean, how can you not melt into the mystery of life when you see something like that? So there always seems to be a moment when Spirit touches us on the shoulder. Seems to be a God whisper reminding us of the sweetness and purpose of life and who we truly are. Did you notice the orange flowers on the vines on the wall? Isn't that beautiful? They remain, you know, it's kind of interesting because that wall over there is yellow and attracts the butterflies. And when those start to die out, the orange come on. But I haven't seen any hummingbirds yet. And it usually attracts the hummingbirds. So I'm hoping it will, and that we're not experiencing some kind of a change that will not be good for us. So the reason that we never can fully understand the mystery of life is that life is infinite. And by definition, that precludes our ability to completely comprehend it. Our founder, Dr. Holmes, tells us that you and I are part of that which is universal. We can never encompass the infinite, but we do have the possibility of everlasting unfoldment, the glorious concept of an eternal emergence in ever-widening circles. There is no circle so great but that another may be drawn around it. The questions which are unanswered today will be answered tomorrow, and more questions will take their place, and they in turn will be answered. So life will always remain a mystery because life is infinite and cannot be known. But we can gradually and continually reveal life's wonder and promise as we disclose more and more of the truth of who we are. So there's two ways to look at life. It's either a problem to be solved or a mystery to be lived. And I think if we look at life as a problem to be solved, we are boxing ourselves in. We create solutions, we find answers, and then we set them in stone. They become our beliefs, and we stop looking, we stop growing. The devil once went for a walk with a friend. They saw a man ahead of them stoop down and pick something up off the ground. "What did that man find?" asked the friend. "Oh, a piece of the truth," said the devil. "Well, doesn't that disturb you?" asked the friend. "No," said the devil. "I shall let him make a belief out of it." If, on the other hand, we believe life is a mystery to be lived, to be unfolded, then each moment holds a promise of wonder. We continue to grow no matter our age or circumstances because we allow ourselves to stand in awe and wonder, to be part of this mystery that is fluid and flowing, rather than stagnating in things that we think we know. I think if we are to unfold this mystery we call life, that we need to redirect some of the ways we've looked at life and at ourselves. We need a sense of reverence for life. We need to embrace the wisdom of uncertainty. And we need to move with enlightened action. And so I'm going to approach those three today, I think. The term reverence for life was coined by Albert Schweitzer. He was trying to put his view of ethics into words. And on a 200-kilometer steamboat trip in Africa, at sundown, coming upon a herd of hippopotamuses, the words "reverence for life" flashed across his mind, accurately defining his position that there is a will to live in all things and a will to live in harmony with all things. And the German word which we have translated as reverence lacks the German overtones of awe before an overwhelming force. It's the respect carried to ultimate lengths. It holds reverberations of the feelings we experience on the tops of high mountains, in a storm at sea, or in an unexpected tropical tornado. This was the element that the African jungle gave to Schweitzer's thinking, the acknowledgement of the immensity and of the overwhelming power, the force of continuing life and ever-present death in the vastness of nature. From this deep and profound respect, we can see life in its vastness. We can sense our connection to all beings, to all things, to the cosmos, and we can sense our own divinity. We are connected to all things because we are all part of and sourced from that which is infinite. And I think it's important because I don't think that we can hold deep respect for other people if we don't feel it for ourselves. I think that we need to know from head to foot that we are magnificent, that we are unique, that we are God in form. And any time we tell ourselves that we are less than this, we are doing ourselves and the world a disservice. Yeah, I was brought up, and maybe you were too, to believe that if I said anything good about myself, that I was being egotistical. I see the Wait a minute. I am missing a page. Yike. You'll never know the answer to this. So anyway, here it is, page 7. I learned to focus on things that were wrong with me, because then I wasn't egotistical. I had things to fix, And I think a lot of us, I'm judging from the, I think a lot of us grew up that way. And what a sad lens through which to view ourselves in our life. Obviously, we will not always live up to the expectations of others or even ourselves. But that in no way clouds the beauty, the radiance, the wonder of who and what we are. And it's time that we claim this about ourselves. You know, it's time that we dropped all those bats of self-recrimination with which we club ourselves. You know? I found a quote from George Foreman a long time ago, and I kept it on my mirror for years. But it's George Foreman talking, and it's written, George Foreman, a miracle, a mystery to myself. Who am I? The mirror says back, the George you was always meant to be. Wasn't always like that. Used to look in the mirror and cry a river. Haven't we all been there? You know? So if life is not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be lived, then we don't have to solve the problems of our imperfections. That doesn't mean we don't have to do anything about them, but it doesn't mean we have to control them. Basically, we can see our flaws in a gentle light because we know that in this mystery called life, we are ever growing, ever deepening, like John said this morning, ever coming into new ways of thinking, being, and doing. We can look in the mirror and see who we were always meant to be. With reverence for ourselves as a mystery and not a problem, we see the promises that life holds. We see that every difficulty that we encounter contains within it an opportunity for growth and expansion. And when we look at life from this perspective, it is like standing at the top of the mountain looking into the valley below. As the sun rises and the fog clears, we begin to glimpse the magnificence that exists below. We didn't know it was there because our view was obscured. When we give ourselves the reverence, the deep respect we deserve, that is the mirror through which we see the world. When we are soft and gentle with ourselves, then we are soft and gentle with others. When we claim our beauty, then we experience beauty all around us. I recently told you of my experience walking on a park path when I lived in California. And at the side of the walk was a little squirrel. He was obviously acquainted with humans, and he was expecting to be fed. So I stopped to talk to him and feed him a peanut, and a woman coming from the other direction in a frantic voice yelled, "Don't get close to that animal, he could have rabies." And by the look on her face, she was convinced that he did. You know, and I thought about that. I mean, this happened a long time ago, but I remember it because at the time I thought, isn't it interesting how we can see the same creature, one as a furry little friend, and the other as a diseased rodent? Which would you want to see? So I thought it was a pretty good metaphor for the ways that we can choose to look at life. You know? And the beauty about standing in the mystery is that we don't need to look for answers. We know and trust that there is a sea of infinite possibilities, that it is infinite wisdom of the universe, and it is the wisdom within ourselves. And we are guided by that inner wisdom to the answers that we seek. When we are seeking answers from the outside, when we are trying to solve problems at the level of the problem, then we remove ourselves from this infinite wisdom, and our solutions can only be based upon our past experience. How many times have you heard me say that? You know, it's sort of a mantra. But Deepak Chopra says it even better. The search for security is an illusion. In ancient wisdom traditions, The solution to this whole dilemma lies in the wisdom of insecurity or the wisdom of uncertainty. This means that the search for security and certainty is actually an attachment to the known. And what's the known? The known is our past. The known is nothing other than the prison of our past conditioning. There's no evolution in that. And when there is no evolution, there is stagnation and decay. Uncertainty, on the other hand, is a fertile ground of pure creativity and freedom. It means stepping into the unknown, which is the field of all possibilities. And it's ever fresh, ever new, and always open to the creation of new manifestations. Without uncertainty and the unknown, life is just the stale repetition of outworn memories. We cannot be fully authentic if we do not embrace the wisdom of uncertainty, because back of this uncertainty is an urge. It's a cosmic whisper to push out into the unknown. And it's a chance to overcome our fears and to grow. Just create a big brown bear and you're fine, you know. And if we believe we are immersed in pure wisdom, in something that knows so much more than we do, and that it responds to us, then we can say yes to that cosmic whisper. You and I were born to be authentic expressions of divine intelligence. And by embracing the wisdom of uncertainty, we become better equipped to see life in terms of its possibilities rather than its problems. You know, we've all heard Gandhi's phrase, the way to do is to be. And this is the crux of enlightened action, which is one of the things I want to touch on today. And the Taoists call this Wei Wu Wei. And it means, Wei means action, Wu means without. So the phrase literally means action without action. When we are in tune with the truth of our being, with the source of all that is, then our actions stem from that place of inner knowing. There's no need to struggle or try to do anything. There is a natural flow and rhythm. I can't tell you, before the internet and Google and all of that, when there were books, you know, I can't tell you the number of times when I was looking for something specific and I would go into my library and a book would literally light up. And it was exactly the book and exactly the whatever it was I was looking for. I found it. I didn't have to work at it. I didn't have to control it. I just knew that I was in tune with the infinite and I wanted something that would fit, and there it was. And how many of us had done that? So, even though there's no need to struggle, it doesn't mean that we don't do anything, but it means, this is important, it means that our doing comes from our being, so that there is a balance and an equilibrium in everything that we do. So if we're a place where we don't like what's going on, we do not resist what is, but we work with it so that we use the what is as the power of our creativity and a new demonstration in our lives. It could be likened to a tree whose branches bend so that the snow on them falls to the ground, as opposed to one whose branches do not bend and are cracked and broken by the weight of the snow. Or like water in a stream, which does not resist the rock, but eventually by flowing around it, melts it into sand. In this enlightened action, what we do is in alignment with the flow of nature and is characterized by ease and awakeness, in which, without even trying, we're able to respond perfectly to the situation at hand. Once we experience a reverence for life and are comfortable with uncertainty, then the power of enlightened action, Wei Wu Wei, becomes evident. Always, when we are standing in our own authenticity, we are standing in equilibrium with the universe itself, and our actions reflect that balance. Always, when we feel no separation between ourselves and this thing called life or spirit, there will be a sense of peace and freedom in each action that we take. A myriad of bubbles were floating on the surface of a stream. "What are you?" I cried to them as they drifted by. "I am a bubble, of course." Nearly a myriad bubbles answered, and there was surprise and indignation in their voices as they passed. But here and there, a lonely bubble answered, "We are this stream." And there was neither surprise nor indignation in their voices, but just a quiet certitude. For when we know that we are the stream expressing as a bubble, when we know that we are spirit clothed in form, then we are truly letting the mystery of life unfold in us, through us, and as us. Thank you. Namaste.
Goes like this. Let the light in, let the light in, let the light into my life. Let the light in, I let the light in, I let the light in my life. And then it goes, I let the light in, I let the light in, I let the light in my life. I let the light in, I let the light in, I let the light in my life. So let the light in, let the light in, let the light in your life. Let the light in, let the light in, let the light in your life. Let the light in, let the light in, let the light in your life. Let the light in, let the light in, let the light in your life. And let the light in, let the light in, let the light in my heart. Let in my heart. Let the light in, let the light in, let the light in my heart. And let the light in, let the light in, let the light in your heart. Let the light in, let the light in, let the light in your heart. And let the light in my life. Let the light in, let the light in, and let the light in my life. And let the light in, let the light in, let the light in my life and your life. Let the light in, let the light in, let the light in your life. Let the light in, let the light in, let the light in your life.
Cool. Yeah, that's interesting. That's cool. Thank you for finding that. Okay. So it's time for our offering, and this is a chance to put that divine law of circulation in process. So won't you join me in our offering affirmation at the left-hand corner of your bulletin. My gift goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless all that it touches. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I share generously of my good, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you so very much for your generosity that allows us to carry on as a beneficial presence. And I thank Kaz for announcing that we do need some help, and I have been kind of unable to do in the past what I've done. So it's up for other people to come forward. And I tell you what, when you look at these kids, and some of them are in the cracks, you know, they're going to have a home. They're going to have a place that they can call our center. It's going to have a place to feed people. It's going to have computers. It's going to have games. It's on a property, so they're right next to things like a baseball diamond, basketball. They're going to have so much, but we just need a little bit more. And so thank you. Thank you for putting out the word, and thank you for coming forward. We really appreciate it. So let's take a moment to close this portion out in prayer, and please join us for refreshments afterwards. And I think the practitioners are going to stay for a quick meeting. We are planning Judy Robertson's memorial service. Her sons are not going to be able to attend, so it's going to be kind of run by the practitioners, and it'll be for our center and all the people who love Judy. So, okay, so let's take a moment to know that God is all there is, that this power and presence and intelligence and wisdom is the source of who and what we are, so that we can stand strong in that knowledge and know that we are so divine, and so is everybody else. We can speak our word with power, because it's not our power, it is the power of the universe that we use. And so I speak my word this day for anyone with any kind of a challenge, that right where that challenge is the power and presence and healing power of God. I speak my word for our world. And I know that there are answers to the challenges that we face, that whether we know what these answers are or not, we know that there is an unlimited wisdom that does know and will come forth. I give thanks for the opportunity to be here, to be part of a spiritual family, and to know that together we can accomplish miracles. I am so grateful for each and every one of you, for our center, for this little corner of paradise in Amado. As we say together, and so it is. Thank you. Stand and sing stand.
So let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are living a new world now. So let there be peace.